Thank you for having us here. My name is Kathy Foster. I've been a 35-year resident of Wellington in District 6. I have had the pleasure of being involved in the community basically from the time I arrived. We had no schools in Wellington in 1979 when I moved there from New York City. And I couldn't believe that my children had to take a bus 3 towns away to find the nearest elementary school. So I organized the moms that I met around the pool and said, we gotta do something about this. And 6 months later, we had the first school in Wellington, which was Wellington Elementary, which was 9 portables that they drove out there on August 1st and said was a school. Needless to say, Wellington's come a long way, and I have had the privilege and honor of being a part of it from day one. I opened my own business in 1983, interior design business, which I am very glad to say is still in existence 32 years later. Pays a lot of bills for 4 children and 10 grandchildren along the way. I helped to found the Palms West Chamber of Commerce in 1983, which is today called the Central Chamber of Commerce. I was the first publicly elected official in Wellington to the Acme Improvement District. In 1989, the Tallahassee mandated that the Acme Improvement District, which was the quasi-government of Wellington at the time and controlled by the developers, opened 2 seats to a public election. There were 23 candidates. I was the only woman. And I basically said I lived there, I worked there, my children went to school there. And I really felt that I had an understanding of what the people in the community wanted. And I won with 48% of the vote over my other 22 opponents. So I have continued to serve the community. I was elected the first first president of the Acme Board, served for 5 more years. I wrote the comp plan with a group of other people for the community of Wellington. We wrote the charter, we took it to Tallahassee, had the village incorporated, and I was selected the first mayor in March of 1996. I served in elected office till 2000, at which time I took over as the executive director of the Adam Walsh Children's Fund. And I did national fundraising with John Walsh, trying to change the laws to protect innocent children. In 2002, we merged with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We relocated to Alexandria, Virginia, and I did not move. I stayed in Florida, and I took over for Junior Achievement of South Florida, which is very committed to business education and working with the school district and making sure that our children have the workforce readiness to be good employers. In 2010, I started a new charity, nonprofit in Wellington called Wellington Cares, which is a complete volunteer organization of individuals in the Western communities who provide non-medical services to any resident 65 and over who would like to age in place and may not have family to assist them. I'm the only candidate in the race. I have 3 wonderful opponents, very nice people, but I'm the only one who brings to the table 35 years of both business experience and 11 years of elected office. I know what it takes to make the tough decisions, and I ask for your vote, not only on August 26th, but in November. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I was hoping Don Ramones would stick around a little bit longer and pass out Cuban coffee. Thank you all for sticking around. I know it's been a long time now since we got here a couple hours ago. But anyhow, my name is Melissa McKinley. I am a first-time candidate for office. I am also running for County Commission in District 6. I bring to the table over 20 years of public service experience, both as a volunteer and as a professional in the field. I moved to Wellington, my family had moved there in 2004. We moved there because of the public school system, and the schools there were so good. As a volunteer, I have worked on issues that benefit women, children, and families. For more than 20 years, I have fought at all 3 levels of government and advocated for changes to our foster care system. I've promoted efforts to improve and implement laws relating to human trafficking. I have fought for education improvements. I've worked on issues related to the homeless. Anything that you can think of, juvenile justice issues are big. Right now, I sit on the Juvenile Justice Advisory Board, the Reentry Task Force, the Homeless Advisory Board's Legislative Committee. I was a founding member of the Sexual Assault Response Team, to which I still serve on. We brought the first rape forensic exam center to Wellington that benefits the whole county. It's called the Butterfly House. I bring this experience to the table. I think that we need somebody at the county commission that works with all three levels of government and knows how to do that. The most important job that I have, though, is I am a parent, and I am a single parent. I have 3 children. They are 16, 14, and almost 13. My standard joke on this campaign trail is, people have said, how are you going to deal with people that tell you they don't like you? And I said, well, I've got 3 teenagers, so it's really not a big issue. This district, why am I running? This is a 1,600 square mile district, as Marcia so eloquently described earlier. It has one of the wealthiest zip codes in the United States of America, and it has one of the poorest zip codes in the United States of America. We have families in this district that are not feeling the benefits of the economic recovery that the rest of our residents in Palm Beach County may be experiencing. We need somebody in this commission seat that is going to shift focus a little bit to some of the things that have been forgotten for the last 7.5 years. Infrastructure improvements that can stimulate some economic recovery. Continue the good work that we've done in workforce development so that we have the skilled labor force that can feed any economic development that we bring out there. Public safety, both in prevention and education efforts. To keep our kids off the street and out of trouble, and I'll finish up. I am proud to have received almost every major endorsement in this race from both our first responders, from our business community, from our state senators, state representatives, council members, commissioners, and mayors. But the most important endorsement I have is that right now, as we speak, my 16-year-old son is out knocking on doors in the district asking voters to vote for their mom, and that means the world to me. So thank you for having us tonight.
Thank you. And last but not least, Mr. Andrew Shaw.
Thank you to everyone for hosting this event and attending this event. My name is Andy Schaller. I moved here 31 years ago. I've been a resident of District 6 for the last 24 years. This is the Chamber of Commerce, so I want to talk a little bit about my business background, real business background. I've handled more than 550 businesses across the U.S. and Puerto Rico. I haven't raised my rates in the 20 years I've been in business. I own an electronic banking company. I haven't advertised in the last 17 years because all of my business comes from word-of-mouth referral. All of the business that I've handled has been an average of $41 at a time, and I've handled over $1 billion of everybody else's business, one at a time, one transaction at a time. The County Commission has 2 responsibilities. The first is fiscal responsibility for the county. The second is governmental policy, fiscal policy, governmental policy. In the last 6 years since I got involved with the county on a road project that was happening in my neighborhood, I ended up spending about the last 6 years of my life in every county commission meeting you could possibly go to, from the Glades all the way down here at downtown, and I've pretty much not missed one. If I have, I've watched it on TV. And I can honestly say, bringing my experience that was talked about before to this job, I have spent more time in any given 1 month period in the last 6 years than all of my opponents combined in any given 1 month or 6 years. I have the ability through my past experience of business and my present desire to make sure that nobody in this county is ever treated by this county the way that I have been. I've been through the Inspector General. I've been through the Ethics Commission, both at the county level and the state level. I don't believe that there's a candidate in this race who has my drive and determination. And I would ask you to look into our personal lives to see what kind of fiscal responsibility we have when you are electing one of 7 CFOs for this county who have the responsibility of handling $4 billion of your budget every year for the next 4 years, and you can't fire them if you don't like the job that they're doing. I ask you to remember me as the Republican candidate, Andy Schaller, who will be on the ballot in November 4th. I am the only Republican, and with your support, I will be the next District 6 County Commissioner. Thank you.
Understand that the economic engine and the validity of Palm Beach County of the equestrian industry is the second largest industry now in Palm Beach County in the sports arena. So I think it is very valuable, and it needs to be defended by whoever is the next county commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Equal opportunity.
Wellington is the equestrian capital of the world. In 1999, I purchased a piece of property that I site planned and designed my own home out there. I have an equestrian barn that I rent out for dressage, the horse ballet. I've had world champions there, I've had Olympic champions. I am fully 100% of my retirement, except for the money to maintain the barn, invested in the equestrian industry. I'm not backed by any one of the two parties that are fighting back and forth. I am the only candidate who lives on an agricultural exempt piece of property, and I have made it a way of life for myself. But more importantly, how it will shape the Glades is I would like to see a division of University of Florida come out, satellite campus, to that area. Anybody that's been around the equestrian industry knows that we bring horses up on a regular basis up to the Gainesville area to have the horses maintained, looked at, worked on, operated, so on and so forth. Anybody that's been in the Glades for 10 minutes can tell you the pride of the area residents. They're the farmers who talk about the University of Florida agricultural program. If we really want to make a difference and we really want to see some of that money stay here and grow our Glades area, we have one of the largest economic engines in this area, the equestrian industry. Why don't we open up a division of University of Florida, not bounce those horses on a trailer for however many hours up, however many hours back, and with the greatest soil around that exists only in two places, which is the muck, why would we ever think that anything is better than what got us here in the first time, which is farming, along with the tourism #1 industry in Palm Beach County, which is also part of the ag tourist industry of the horses. It could be a fantastic boom for us to continue, but if you don't have the right leadership in place that understands that, and somebody who's fully vested into that, 2 years from now, we'll ask the same question.
Thank you.
I'll just add, I do agree with a lot of what Ms. Foster had to say on the issue. Your specific question, who was it you who asked again? Just want to make sure I'm looking at the right person. Your specific question was the contention that's been going back and forth in the Wellington community. As a current county employee and somebody who's gone up and been advocating for the last 4.5 years on the issue of home rule authority, a lot of those decisions on the development within that equestrian preserve in Wellington is up to the Wellington Council. It is not a county commission decision. I do have the backing of some of the elected members from the village of Wellington. I have met with the other members of the council out there. I have made it very clear to them that I am not taking a side on that issue. I wish them the best. I hope that they will come out and they will choose what they believe is in the best interest for the residents of Wellington. As far as the county commissioner's job on that issue is if and when they decide what it is exactly they want to do in the village of Wellington, which I hope is soon because it's dividing the community. A county commissioner needs to be there to support them as far as tourism, tourist development, tax dollars are concerned, making sure the industry gets the recognition it needs. If there are any infrastructure improvements that they need help from the county, making sure that, they have a voice at the table with the county commission and somebody that can draw all the parties together to work to try to resolve some of those issues. Thank you.
Thank you.